on how to fast-track research in a series of talk series, Information System Postgraduate Research Series at Institute Technology. I'm Dr. Junaid from University Technology Petronas, Malaysia. I'm senior lecturer here. I joined UTP this year, so I have been here for 6 to 7 months. Okay, the basic focus of my talk today is to provide some experience of research to the graduate students as well as any faculty member. This is a knowledge sharing session basically, where I share my knowledge and experience that what mistakes I have made and how I can help students and other faculty members to avoid those mistakes during the research of information systems. So that's the main focus, that I have learned from my mistakes and I share what were those mistakes during my time of as a PhD student, as an MS student. So how to rectify those mistakes and how to avoid them in order that the students can fast track their research and they can do their research in the stipulated time in 3 or 4 years, most likely, so that they can graduate on time. So that's the focus of today's research. So you can, if any of the participants has any query, you can just put your query in the chat box. And at the end of this session, we will also have a QA session. So you might just add your query to the chat box that I can see if it should be answered at the end or during this talk also. So this is the lecture outline. First, I will provide you a brief bio for myself. Then the learning outcomes of this lecture. We'll define scientific research. We'll define fast-track research, though this is not a well-established term. So different people can have different perspective of what is fast-track research. So I will provide you my perspective of fast-track research. What are the options for doing fast-track research? What are the benefits of doing fast-track research? And we will explore what are the steps in doing the fast-track research. And at the end, we have a question and answer session. So my bio, I did my PhD from University of Malaya in 2017. I also got distinction, and I was on Bright Spark Scholarship that had high requirements for research publications. Currently, I am senior lecturer at University Technology Petronas. Previously, I was associate professor in Pakistan, and after PhD, I also served as assistant professor in Pakistan. Because in Pakistan, after PhD, the job title in universities is assistant professor, and after 5 years of serving as assistant professor, a person can be promoted as associate professor. So that's how I went around in Pakistan in terms of my career. So this is a screenshot of my research profile. I will discuss this in detail. I will provide the link and also discuss how this is related to the fast track research, the title of our talk today. So the learning outcomes of today's lecture are to define scientific research, the need of fast track research, how to do it, and what are the main benefits of doing the fast track research. So this is a book-based definition of scientific research. So scientific research refers to systematic investigation and analysis of various phenomena, questions, problems, problem analysis, and applying well-defined methods, principles, and rigorous procedure in order to analyze different phenomena that we have for computer science, information system, data, artificial intelligence, and so on. So the primary goal of scientific research is to expand human understanding and knowledge, to develop new insights and theories and explanation, and to contribute to the advancement of various fields of study. So that's the bookish definition of scientific research. I'm describing this because in fast track research, we need to know what is fast track. Before that, we need to know what is research. So we investigate a phenomena, a technology from different perspectives, and we try to provide some insights into the working of that technology. Try to provide some theories and explanation during our work as a scientific researcher. So students might be titled, if they are graduate students and they are on scholarship, they might be titled uh, graduate research assistant. So in their title, research assistant means a person who helps in the research on a specific topic. And so what is the research? It is just the study of different technologies in information systems. If we talk specifically of information systems, then we study the application of technologies, the theories and explanation of different technologies, how to handle data, how to handle different platforms in various use cases in oil and gas, in smart irrigation, in smart agriculture, in sustainable industries, and so on. So this is an you can say what is the process of your PhD and MS research. First, the students get an admission, then they meet as a supervisor. If the supervisor has a research grant, or if he is interested to work in a specific topic, the supervisor can provide a student the topic that you have to research in this specific topic, or the supervisor can give student an open hand that you can go on and do research on topic of your liking, whatever do you prefer to. Okay, after that, after the meeting, if you have a topic from the supervisor, or if you have a topic of your own preference, students usually go to different scholarly databases like Google Scholar, or currently students are just asking ChatGPT, I'm doing research, postgraduate research on this topic. Uh, Give me a roadmap, a 3-year roadmap of doing research on this, and so on. And ChatGPT is giving them some answers. So ChatGPT will not be giving you references, but it will be giving you some summary information, and it can give you a roadmap also for your research, different milestones that you have to cover for your research. So usually students go to Google Scholar to research similar articles on this topic that the supervisor has given them, or it is a topic of their own preference. But if you go to Google Scholar, there are so many articles on a topic, and each of the article may be implementing the idea or testing different technologies or doing research on different platforms. So students usually get confused in order to what development language they are going to use during their PhD or MS, what platform they are going to use, and so on. So students are looking for a guidance from seniors, from supervisor, from lab colleagues, and so on. But mostly students are stuck in this for quite a long time. So they can have weekly meeting with the supervisor, they can set milestones and chase conference and journals. But I would say that this type of research, it will go through a long path. It will not be a fast track research. So why there is a need of fast track research? Firstly, that students have limited time to do their research. They have to complete their studies within PhD can have a maximum limit of 6 years, I think. MS can have a maximum limit of 4 years in most of the countries. So you have to do the research in some specified time. Plus, if you do research in time, in the minimum allowed time, for example, you can do PhD in 3 years, you can get distinction from your university. So that can be a benefit of doing research in timely manner. And most importantly, often thousands of researchers are working on a same problem using same technologies and using same platforms and so on. So if you do the research first, if you solve that problem first, that researcher is going to get more recognition than the other researchers. So there's always a race to solve a certain problem that is the focus of industry at the moment. Currently, uh, uh, the supervisor will know that currently the Sustainable Development Goals, the CS and IT faculty are asked to address the Sustainable Development Goals so that the technology information systems are applied to solve uh, problems at community level. So there are so many people that are trying to address, trying to see what are the problems for sustainable development and how information technology, information systems can be applied to solve those problems. So there's always a race who, in order to know who solves the problem first. Plus, also in terms of supervisor, there is their key performance indicator says publish or perish. They have to publish, and their publications are normally assessed at the end of each year. So they have to publish or they can lag behind in their career. So there are multiple reasons which say that there is a need to do fast track research. So now coming to the solution, what is fast track research? A simple one-liner definition of fast track research is doing open source research and also getting ideas from open source research of other researchers, other colleagues. So I will explain that soon. So what is open source research? Open source research is where a researcher publishes an article and also makes part of the code or the data set open source, and normally they upload that code or data set on GitHub, on Kaggle, and other repositories. So that is open source research. It is verifiable. Any other researcher can utilize that code to verify that the research, the code implements, solves a problem and implements some kind of technology, implements some kind of intelligent algorithm, that open source research is repeatable. It can be repeated across the globe by any person who has suitable computing resources in terms of servers, in terms of platforms based on which that code was developed. Open source research is improvable. You can improve it. And by improving open source research, you can do your own research. You can defend your PhD in this manner. And this is the basic goal of fast track research. This is the main motto that I'm trying to leave during this talk. But the issue is that not all researchers do open source research. I would say that approximately only 2% of the researchers do open source research because it takes a lot more effort in doing open source research. If one wants to be recognized from other batch, you have to upload your data, you have to test your code in different scenarios so that it doesn't give errors. It has proper documentation. So it takes a lot more effort in doing open source research. Moreover, many research supervisors, they are constrained by their research funding. They have to do publish multiple research, multiple articles to satisfy the milestones of their research funding. And if they do open source research, somebody can use their code and he can also do research in the same direction. So sometimes, based on the requirements of research funds, the supervisors or authors, some of the authors will not be willing to provide their code as open source. So these are the constraints. That's why only a limited people, a percentage of researchers do open source research. So now we come towards an activity where I will see that all of you will be doing some research, and we will try to do open source research in this regard. Okay, in doing this activity, I will search the topic of my interest from GitHub and Google Scholar also, and we will compare the results. And you will have to do the same. You will search your own keyword, for example, uh, image object recognition using deep learning. If you are doing research on images, UAV-based smart agriculture, and so on, smart irrigation using IoT sensors, and so on. So you can use your own query, the topic that you are doing research on, and I will do the topic of my interest, and we will see what is the output of search on GitHub and on Google Scholar. So I will see, okay, there is attendance. I will try to share my screen, not only the PowerPoint. Okay. Okay, can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So let me try my query, which is task offloading on GitHub, and see, okay, I have got 122 repositories that are on task offloading. One in edge computing, the other one in mobile edge computing. This one is semi-online computation offloading, and so on. So 122 results on GitHub. There are 122 researchers, or you can say articles, who have done research on task offloading, and that research, they have also made the research open source while posting on GitHub. So GitHub is not the only repository where researchers can upload their code, but it is one of the most used platform where researchers can upload their research. So what I need to do, I need to go to Google Scholar. I say task offloading. Okay, there was some input already there. Okay, I provide the same input to Google Scholar, and let's see the number of results. Okay, 1,24,000 results on task offloading. If you see the titles, task offloading in the title of first article, second, third, fourth, and task offloading is in the title of every of these articles. So these are all articles. I go to page number 6 or 7, and you see there are task offloading in every article here also. So these are all articles, more than 100,000, that are there on Google Scholar that are related to task offloading. So you might have done query on your own keyword also. So what do you think, which approach is better? If I'm a new student, if I've just enrolled in a graduate program, so I want to know, I have to do research on task offloading, and I want to get state-of-the-art articles on task offloading. Will it be better for me to research through Google Scholar, or will it be better for me to search through GitHub? Which one is easier, dealing with 122 articles or dealing with 1,24,000 articles? It almost 1,000 times difference between the number of articles. Studying and analyzing 122 articles is easier, or studying and analyzing this much of information? Which one is easier? Any comments? Okay, GitHub is easier. Okay, definitely GitHub is easier, and we will say how it is not just easy, it is beneficial for you too. Not in terms of easiness, in other parameters also. Okay, I hope you have done query on your research topic and found out some interesting results on this. So coming back to the presentation. Okay, so the diagram on the right shows you the difference between fast track research and the normal Google Scholar not so fast research. So a graduate student, when he gets admission, if he's not doing fast track research, he will be going here and there without any purpose. There will be a purpose, but he will not be getting definite results. He will see that there are lots of paper on that topic, specific topic, but he will fail to uh, filter out articles which are better than the other, or which are state-of-the-art articles. So I would say that state-of-the-art articles are those that are on GitHub. Other 1,24,000 articles on task offloading are not state of the art. Only 122 articles are state of the art because those researchers were brave enough. They had substantial amount of work done. They had tested their research in different environments and different inputs, that they were confident that, okay, we can make this research open source. So they went ahead and made their research open source, so anybody can see their code, they can criticize, they can provide constructive criticism, they can modify, they can uh, re reproduce their code, and so on. So those are state-of-the-art articles on task offloading on any query that you are giving to GitHub. So moving on, there's a big difference between studying or getting information from 1,24,000 articles versus 120 articles. Okay, when you normally, if your supervisor asks, okay, if when you are studying task offloading, you are studying image processing using deep learning. Okay, you have to do a survey, you have to review a certain number of articles before you start to propose your own work. You have to study what other researchers have done previously on the same topic. So you have to review or survey state-of-the-art topics. So GitHub is giving us a very filtered out, very refined set of 120, 122 articles that a student can easily review. You can say one article one day. In 4 months, you are done with your literature review. You are done with your survey writing, review writing, chapter 2 of your thesis. It will take 4 months max if you review one article per day on task offloading. And these are definitely state-of-the-art articles. But if you go on searching Google Scholar, each day Google Scholar will give you different output. Each day you will get a different number of papers, and it will be very difficult for you to filter out state-of-the-art articles from Google Scholar. And these articles from GitHub are still enough for SLR. So a question here may arise in your mind that what is the difference between fast track research and systematic literature review? Systematic literature review is often carried out in information systems, where a student is asked to review articles in his research field systematically. What were the keywords that he gave to the search engine, to the knowledge databases? What was the output from those knowledge databases? How he filtered out articles, recent articles, state-of-the-art articles using different filtering tools, and what were the end product that he decided to have a comprehensive literature review on. So systematic literature review and fast track research, they go hand by hand. Actually, fast track research enhances your systematic literature review. It does not replace systematic literature review. So this is a basic outline of systematic literature review. When you start with a key term and you specify a criteria one, okay, I'm searching task offloading in articles recent last 3 years, okay, you get output, you you refine that output with more filters, okay, I'm only doing research on journal articles, I'm not looking for magazine articles, for patents, for conferences, you get an output C, and that's the final output that you are going to review. But doing fast track research, you can just say the initial step is going to be that the initial set of articles that you are going to work with is a filtered set of articles that you get from GitHub. It is not millions of articles that you are getting from Google Scholar. It's just a specific number, 100 or maybe less than 100 articles that you are getting from GitHub. That's the first step. That's the first input. Then you say, okay, 100 is still a big number. I will only do systematic literature review of 50 articles. You might uh, set up some filter that is based on year of publication. You might set up some filter that is based on the venue of publication and so on. And you can filter the articles so that at the end you get a specific, your desired number of articles to review. So there are other sources, other options for doing open source research. One is Papers with Code, and there are many websites with similar names. So you can go to Papers with Code and you can simply search, query a similar term. It will provide with you a list of papers on that topic, and it will provide with you with the link of the code and also the link of the paper. So it is very useful that you use this website also if you are uh, finding difficult to get data sets. You have got the code, but you are finding it difficult to get the data sets, then you might go to Kaggle and you might search for suitable data sets on Kaggle website. Okay, one issue that students find it difficult is identifying the source of GitHub articles. For example, I search task offloading. So going to the first article, okay, now we are in code repository. Okay, we have the code repository, simulation code, and with that we have the paper. And down here, the author says, this repo contains the simulation code used in the following publications. So most of these repository will mention that this is the article that we have published, and in this repository, you will find the code of this article. So they have already mentioned the article, and you can you don't have there will not be PDF. Maybe in the papers they have the PDF. Okay, the PDF of the files is also here, so you don't need to go to Google Scholar in any case. So most of these articles, okay, we try another results from this, the second result. If we try, okay, references at the bottom, you see these are the articles. He's saying, okay, if you have to cite this, you cite as a software. They have also published this software or code or Zenado, and this code will be corresponding to these articles published in IEEE Globecom and published in IEEE Communication Service and Tutorials. So for each article on GitHub, you will easily find the papers that have been published based on this code. So there is not going to be a big, you can say, search to find out the relevant articles. It is very easy. Normally, the authors already list the paper they have implemented, and you can easily match the code with the corresponding paper. So coming back to the slides and trying to wrap up, because we already have past half the time. Okay, what are the benefits? Few have been explained. The student has lesser amount of data to deal with. The data the student is dealing with now is state of the art because it has been tested, and the work was good enough that the authors thought that they should be posting the code also. the comparative analysis, when you will be doing your proposed idea, you can compare this code that you found on GitHub with your own proposed idea, and you don't have to implement the baseline from scratch. You got the baseline, and okay, you are trying to improve the idea now, you're trying to improve the code, you're trying to implement a different neural network, you're trying to implement a different data set, you try out a different decision-based system, a different data analytics systems. Okay, you do that, but you already got the baseline. How would you say that you improved the research? Because you already got a baseline from GitHub and you can compare with that. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel for your comparative analysis also. Most of the times we see that the postgraduate students, they do research, and when they are presenting, they say, okay, we are presenting our own research, we are not comparing with anyone. That's why that is because that they made a mistake. They didn't start from GitHub. If they had started from GitHub, they should have a baseline comparison with other research also. So there would be, if you are trying to write a review on your topic, so there might be many reviews already out on your topic. For example, on task offloading, if you see, if I go back to my Scholar, Google Scholar, task offloading, and I type in survey, for example. Okay. So already a survey on task offloading, survey on task offloading, cloud and survey on vehicular task offloading, and so on. So there are already thousands of survey. If you are writing a survey on the same topic, how you can distinguish from existing surveys that have been already been published? So you can distinguish your survey from the others because your literature review was based on 120 articles or 100 articles, not on 100,000 articles. You surveyed only those articles that had open source code. So you can already distinguish the title of your survey from other research surveys that have already been published. So in this manner, you can do research that is, you can do your own research that is reproducible, citable, and likable from the research community. So I will ask a question now from the audience. This is my Google Scholar profile that I mentioned earlier. Uh, uh, and observe the first two articles in my profile and see if there is a difference between them based on the number of citations and the year that they have been published in. Okay, you would see this first article here on the list that is as the cited most is COVID open source datasets, a comprehensive survey. It was published in the same year when COVID emerged. Okay, maybe in the next year in 2021. And there is the second article, the second highest cited article in my profile is a survey of techniques and architectures for designing energy efficient data centers. So there is a keyword of open source in the first and no keyword in such keyword in the second. So you will see that although this is a survey, but the researchers' interest in open source data and open source code research was so much that the article that was published in 2021 has got more citations than the article that was published 5 years ago. So that is how I would say that the research is more likable, it is more citable, it's more reproducible because you are already doing open source research and more people will be recognizing you, citing you, and liking your work. Although there will be people that will be criticizing your work, but I think the students and the faculty, they can learn their lessons from the criticism and they can even provide a better solution based on the criticism. So now we will see what are steps once the student has identified articles to review for systematic literature review. Now the student has to analyze the data and he has to come up with a comparative table or figure to summarize his findings. A template I have given in which the student can mention the year the article was published in, the reference, the approach they followed, the offloading, the application they offloaded. This is a specific use case for my research topic. I've filled in briefly this table for my research topic. Offload platform. Okay, this is the summary of the first article I found on GitHub while I was giving the query of task offloading. The source code of that and the language that was used in development of this open source code. So this is the first step. Normally, PhD students are asked to do a review, a systematic literature review, or a survey of their research topic before they proceed further. So this will be is going to be your first step. Second step, okay, now the technical part. Once you have reviewed the articles from GitHub, now you have to see which programming language was mostly utilized in those open source repositories. Okay, let us check from GitHub again. Okay, here you see at the left panel, languages have been pointed out: Python, Jupyter Notebook, Java, MATLAB, and so on. So you may refine your research while you click Python. Okay, now only 33 out of 122 initial findings, only 33, you can say 1/4 of the articles have utilized Python as their development language. Okay, now comes the interesting part. So if you are efficient in doing programming in Python, you select only these 32 articles. You study only these 33 articles in detail. Or any other language you are comfortable with, you can filter out more articles based on your preferred programming language. Now, okay, suppose that you are not proficient in any programming language, then what you have to do, you have to join campus-based workshops, trainings for Python and machine learning. If there are not such opportunities in the near future, you can always go to Coursera for free. Okay, and most of the people think that Coursera, most of the courses are paid. You have to pay something to see the full course contents on Coursera. Okay, that's not the case. This second link here, http www.classcentral.com. This link will give you details on how to freely use any of the Coursera course. Okay, so if there is a course on Coursera, go to this website and you will see how to sign up for free for any of the, you can say this is a hack to the Coursera website. YouTube is always free, and there are lots of Python-based courses available on YouTube, and you can enhance your programming skills. Whichever platform you have identified to be suitable for your research, you can enhance your programming skills for that platform, for that programming language. And you can later thank Andrew because he was one of the founding members of Coursera, and most of the popular YouTube videos on machine learning you will find that have been developed by Andrew. Okay, so you have to spend some time in learning new skills, new programming languages, learning new platforms, and so on. And this is the perfect time for you to invest in learning a new skill, because once you graduate, then you will not find such time ever in life, because PhD students are mostly you can say dedicated PhD students. There are very few PhD students that who are doing PhD as a part-timer. So as a dedicated PhD student, you have the most time to enhance your skills in different programming languages and so on, so that you are able to apply same application development methodology on other problems also, not just your PhD problem, but other problems also. Now, once you have got the review done, once you have got identified the language that you need to learn or need to enhance your skills in, then comes the part of critical analysis, where you put up some questions. Okay, is the research methodology suitable? Is the research methodology, the first article on GitHub against task offloading, is this article's research methodology suitable for real-time systems? Okay, maybe not. Are research methods suitable for resource constraint devices? Maybe not. Okay. The article got a good accuracy with a complex model, but what was mostly the researchers forget to calculate the resource consumption. They develop a complex machine learning model and they don't care for the resource consumption, how much resources was consumed, how much time it took for their model to train, how much time it takes their model to test, to validate an input. Okay, so they might have not calculated that, and their resource consumption might be very bad, might not be suitable for real-time systems, might not be suitable for resource constraint devices. Okay, this is the critical thinking part where you criticize the GitHub repositories. Okay, you see what is the problem with them. Okay, now after criticizing, you come up with ideas. Okay, there was some issues in this research. I can improve this research in terms of its real-time suitability, in terms of its use cases, in terms of its data sets, and then I can propose my own research. I can do my own PhD, my master's, while I am improving the existing research. Okay, so that's the critical analysis part. Anybody can do. These are the main questions that you can use for the critical analysis. One thing you don't need to do is replicate somebody's work and present as it was yours work. This is very unethical, and it will lead to severe ethical and academic consequences. If you get a code from GitHub or any other resource and present that as your own development, it will, if you are caught in such activities, it will lead to severe ethical and academic consequences. You have to learn from the open source code, you have to improve them, you don't have to replicate them as it is and present as yours. Rather, you have to find research gaps, you can start looking for new data sets for the same problem, and you can identify other data sets from Kaggle and so on. So I will now try to conclude this talk based on task offloading. These are my recent publications, as this is my area of research. So I'm doing research on this. Okay, you can, for these articles, for the first stated article particularly, you can ping the first author or me for the code. I think there will be statement in some articles. There is statement that the code and dataset will be available by suitable correspondence to the authors of the article. So if you you can query authors also, if they don't have put in their open source code, they might be willing to provide you code through email communication while you put up suitable queries to them. Okay, last advice here. PhD students, any graduate students have to manage their time, and most of the time that is being wasted nowadays is on social media. So my advice is that students have to unsocialize from social media and the politics. Twitter, discussing some politics on Twitter with other persons, discussing celebrities on Twitter and or other social media. Students are wasting a lot of time in such activities. So they have to unsocialize from social media, because this is the last time that you might have to learn any new skills, improve your own profile and so on. And you should be visible in a crowd. If you are a batch of 30 PhD students, try to be visible from the crowd. Try to get your research done on time. Try to get publications in higher impact factor venues. Try to get publications in venues that have repute of large rejection rate. Okay, try to be visible in a crowd so that once you have done with your PhD, you don't have to go for job hunting again. Your faculty knows, your department knows that you were the one who was visible from the crowd and you are a suitable candidate to be hired in the same department. Okay, so try to be visible in the crowd. So that's summarizing the research talk. And next steps, we can for next steps we can have a talk on the different roles in the research ecosystem, and another talk on how to improve H-index. That's just my suggestions. So these are my contact venues: Google Scholar, LinkedIn, Orica ID, ResearchGate, and email address that you can connect me on these different platforms. Okay. Now, any questions that might be, you can turn on your speaker, or I think you can also type in the chat box.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Dr. Junaid, for the great presentation. Now I will open for Q&A. So please, dear participants, if you have question, please raise your hand. Bu Inge, you have question? Okay, Dr. Junaid,
Yes.
do you have any tips for procrastination? It's quite typical for my master student and PhD student. They have like procrastination, like postpone until the due date. Do you have any tips on that
I
based on
think
your experience? Because I saw in your profile you finish your PhD quite
yes, time
right.
management is important, very important
Yes.
for such students. At the beginning of the day, when you arrive at your desk, you just list down the tasks that you have to do. Okay, you have to achieve small milestones, and you list the task for that day that you have to do. Okay, you have found out a Python video that is 6 hours long. Okay, your task is for today, you don't have to do all the 6 hours today. Your task is do the first half an hour or 1 hour, and try to get that task ticked off as soon as possible. So once you arrive at your desk and you don't have any aim for that day, you don't have any task for today listed for today, you might just go on, scroll the web without any objective, without uh, any benefit. So first thing you do, you don't turn on your system, you list down, try to list down the tasks that you have on hand. Supervisor has inform you that you have to do this thing, you have to prepare the abstract of a paper, you have to review a paper, and so on. So you try to take those off. Okay, you might be, if you are good at time management, you might be able to do in the first 4 hours before lunch, and after lunch. Okay, that's your time now. Okay, you don't have to work 8 hours daily, complete 8 hours from 9 to 5. You don't have to spend complete 8 hours trying to be very good, trying to be very productive. Okay, you can just do your work in 4 hours, and the rest of the day you can take a rest, you can go for some sport activities and so on. I don't think that 8 hour 5 days a week, 8 hours a day work is necessary to do PhD in 3 years. I think 3 to 4 hours is enough, but you have to be very specific in those 4 hours. You don't have should not have any other commitments. You shouldn't have any interruptions in those 4 hours for that day.
Yes, very focused. Yes, Dr. Junaid.
Yes.
Okay, that's great. Okay, hopefully it's useful for our PhD student. Yeah. Okay, right. Okay. Any question again from my student, please, if you have. Any? Okay. Adi, okay. There is a question from Fahri. Do you have any tips for managing your reading from research article?
Sorry, sir, I didn't get your question.
Okay. Do you have any tips for managing your reading from research article?
Okay. So there are many tools available nowadays. Okay, I just forgot to list. One of them is a PDF speaker, which reads the paper, and you don't have to read for yourself, and you can just listen to that. I will try to share that tool with you. I think there are many of such tools which read your paper, and you can also skip. You don't have to listen to all of that. You can skip the parts of the paper. Yeah, maybe you listen to the abstract, then go to the research methods, and so on. Such tools are helpful if student is finding difficulty in reading articles. He might try to, because some people have good reading habits. Some are very good listeners. So I think this is a good. These tools are nowadays good, that you can listen to research articles rather than reading them. So I will share the link with you for such tools.
All right. Okay, thank you, Dr. Junaid and Fahri, for asking question. All right, we have 2 minutes. There is question from Ahsan. Let me translate to bahasa. Apakah riset literatur review itu dapat digunakan dalam menyusun tesis tahap awal seperti latar belakang dan tinjauan pustaka? Apakah riset literatur review itu dapat digunakan dalam penyusunan tesis tahap awal? Okay. The question is whether literature review, or maybe it's like systematic literature review, could be used as the background within the thesis.
Within the
Background, the introduction.
Okay. I think a systematic literature review, the basic purpose is just not to review random articles. Okay, the systematic literature review is try to filter out articles that are more relevant, that are more recent, that have been published in specific venues. So that's the focus. You can summarize the findings of systematic literature review in the background and introduction. But systematic literature reviews, normally they are a standalone article where you try to review current state-of-the-art articles and then say, okay, these are the research issues and challenges in the current research, and we will try to solve one of these challenges in our PhD or in our MS studies.
All right, I think it's already answered the question. Okay, yeah. Unfortunately, the time is up. It's 3 o'clock p.m. now. So I think we could conclude our research talk today. So Dr. Junaid, do you have concluding remark maybe?
Okay.
tip for the
Yes.
student, maybe. Yeah.
Yes, I am very open to your queries. If you you know my email, my profile, you can always contact me for help. If you are doing research on networks, computer networks, I will be more helpful. But if you are doing research on computer vision, I might not be that much help. Okay, so you can always reach me. Whatever help I can, I could give, I will give you help in your tasks.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much again, Dr. Junaid, for your sharing. I think it's quite useful for the research student, right? Okay, so that's it for today's research talk. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us today. Okay, so I can close this session. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi.
Thanks again, Dr.
Thank
Junaid.
you.
Thank you, Doctor, for inviting me. Thank you very much.
All right, bye everyone.